Hi friends, it's Tanya with freerangecottage.com, and today we are going to plant some narcissus bulbs, also called paperwhites. Now these are a type of daffodil, but the ones that you're seeing in the store right now, which is November when I'm recording this, have been pre-chilled. Most of your flowering bulbs will need a period of chilling, which usually happens in the ground outside in certain garden zones. But these are what's called forcing bulbs, which means they've been pre-chilled for you, and you can go ahead and plant them up and have beautiful blooms right inside your house. So if you think that's something you might like to do, then follow along. I've also got a bunch of thrifted containers that I'm going to put them in to just add that vintage, really beautiful appeal to them. And I'm going to use them in my holiday decor because I'm going for more of a natural and organic kind of style with my holiday decorating. And I think you'll find with all these beautiful blooms and pretty greens, and you just don't need a whole lot more for your house to really shine with the holiday. Just add some pretty lights and you are in good shape. So I'm going to plant these, but I'm also going to plant this amaryllis, which is also another flowering bulb. And I found this one at Lowe's. It's a pink. I'm super excited. A lot of times you'll see the red, which is the classic color. And I will be using some red in my decor, but I just love pink. So I'm going to pot that one up. And also these I got on Amazon, but they are also in the stores right now. I did see some in Lowe's, but you'll see them just about everywhere right now. Walmart, all those kind of places are carrying these bulbs. So if you've passed them by and said, I don't know what to do with those, after you watch this, you'll know what to do. And it's so easy. Even if you're not a plant person and you can't keep an indoor plant alive, these paperwhites are really simple, and I think you should give it a try. My question of the day for in the comments though, if you would do me a favor and tell me, do you have indoor plants? And are they live or are they artificial? Can you not keep them alive, or you don't have the time, or you don't have the sunlight inside your house? Let me know in the comments, do you have indoor plants? Okay, so now for the containers, I found a couple of really pretty milk glass sort of vases that are on pedestal feet. I was originally going to buy these to pour some beeswax candles in, and I may find some other ones to do that in, but I just thought the paperwhites would be so pretty in here. So I'm going to do a couple of those. And then I have just glass sort of terrarium fishbowl jars. I have this one that I've had air plants in, or just favorite rocks or what have you in this. And this was a thrifted piece. I mean, I didn't pay more than a couple of dollars for any of these. I already have some white pebbles in that one, and I really like the straight sides on this. So that will be one that I'll plant some in, and I'm gonna do something special in that one. So watch for that. This is and I'm so sorry, I've had a terrible, terrible cold. So if I'm a little bit sniffly or my voice is a little squeaky, I'm sorry about that. I've got my water here, so hopefully my voice holds up. This is a big, unusual fishbowl that I found. And I normally keep some of my favorite seashells in it, but I'm going to take those out and plant some paperwhites in that. And I think it'll be just beautiful, because what's neat about it is that you'll see the bulb, you'll see the roots, you'll see the plant growing, and it's just beautiful. But I want you to think about some unusual planters. I have a thrifted basket. It would be beautiful in this. The only thing is that you need to have a little jar, or maybe a little plastic or glass rectangle food container or something in there that can hold just a little bit of water, or a little bit of pebbles in there, and you can grow it right in a basket. Now on the top, you may want a little bit of moss or some burlap or something so you can't see that inside container. So that would be a really neat option. And another idea is I have this huge seashell, conch shell that I did thrift years and years ago. And the neat thing is you don't need a really, really deep container for these paperwhites. So all they need is a little bit of water at the bottom of the bulb, and you're good to go. So you could use something like this. You can plant them in sand, you can plant them in dirt. There's all kinds of things you can plant them in. So feel free to get creative with your planters. I have this little concrete planter, and it does not have a hole, but I had picked this up at Home Goods, but this would be really pretty to plant in, and I probably will later on. I also have this little galvanized sort of trough that I bought from Hobby Lobby a while back, and it's got a real farmhouse rustic look, which I will like in some areas of my house during the holidays. And I've already got some gravel in there that I used all summer. I had put just potted plants in on top, and I just had that in there for a little bit of drainage. So it's not the most beautiful gravel in the world, but it's not showing through glass, so I don't mind that at all. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, sort of your little teacups, your thrifted little containers, like cute teacups and such. You could plant one bulb in there with some sand or some gravel. You could also use bowls, or they sell the flat marbles, the round marbles. You could use those, or you could just put it in there with just a little bit of water, just enough that the bottom roots are sitting in it, and it will do its thing. So that's another option that could be really fun. So let's go ahead and get started on some of this planting. I also found for $1.50 at the thrift store yesterday, I found this great vase that's just so unusual. It nips in at the bottom here, and these are great for bulbs, because that bulb will just sit up there and its roots will come down. I'm hoping that amaryllis is a big enough bulb that it's just going to sit up on top of that, and then my water will go down here. So I'm going to start with that one. A lot of them nip in up here at the top. They had several like that too, that you could put smaller bulbs, and I've seen those done. As a matter of fact, I saw at Aldi, they had a lot of Paperwhites. It was one bulb with the glass, and it was all nipped in at the top here, and they were already starting to shoot green, and I think those were $3 a piece. So hey, if you don't want to do the planting yourself, Aldi is where I saw them, and I'm sure they're at a lot of other stores. But I'm going to start with this one with my amaryllis and just show you sort of the process. It's so easy, guys. You can do this. I'm going to go ahead, and I had bought some black gravel and some white gravel, but like I said, you can use a lot of different things to plant it in. But I'm going to just put a little bit of white gravel in the bottom of this one. And the only reason why is mostly for decoration. It's not really needed in this one, but let's see if I can do it where you can see it. I'm just going to put a little bit down there because I just want it to be pretty. And once I put my water in there, I want it to just be decorative. So now I'm going to take my amaryllis bulb and open this up. These are going to be so pretty during the holidays, but honestly, if you're watching this at a different time of year, it doesn't have to be during the holidays. You could do this any time of the year and have some beautiful blooms inside your house. So here I'm just dropping it in. I'm just dropping it in, and actually, he's not quite big enough to sit on top of that nip in point, but you can see it's going to be really pretty anyway. So I would put water just up to probably right about where it comes in on the vase there, and just change out that water and just watch it. Make sure it doesn't get sour or mucky or anything. But it takes about, with your Paperwhites especially, it's going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks before you get blooms, and then it'll bloom should bloom for at least 2 weeks, sometimes a little more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant every couple of weeks, because I want some through December, but I also would love to have some through January, during that time when you know how you take all your Christmas decorations down. And I love the clean, sparse feel of it, but it's almost like something's missing, and just that little bit of greenery and the flowers, and they have a little bit of a scent. So it's just such a nice thing in January too. So in the white containers, the milk glass, I'm going to just put a little bit of black gravel in there, just a bit. Now, sometimes it's better to rinse your gravel, but I think we're gonna be fine. So you can see, depends on how high up, of course, you want your bulb to sit, but I'm just gonna probably put one bulb. I gotta look at the size here. I may be able to fit two. I want it to be nice and full. There are some smaller ones. I think I'll put a large one and a small one, and maybe even one more small one if I can fit it in there. But you can see this is your root side. It's sort of flat, and then the top pointy side is where your green is gonna shoot up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just nestle those down. I'm just nestling them down in the gravel just a little bit, just so they'll stay upright. And then when I add my water, it'll come up just to the base of the bulb, like I said, okay? I don't know if you can see that. But it'll come up just to the base of the bulb. And it's okay that they're sitting down in there because Paperwhites can be pretty tall and they can get floppy. So it's kind of nice to have something with a little bit of support around the sides. So I think that will work out beautiful. Okay, there is a little recipe. I believe it's 7 parts water to 1 part alcohol when you put your water in, if you want to keep them shorter. Say you have a shorter container, like I may do that in this because they may get too tall in this trough and just flop. So I may want to keep them a little bit shorter, and I will use that. So you use like vodka, use 1 part to 7 parts water. So say you used a 1/4 cup. Well, you probably wouldn't even use that. For something small like this, it'd be like a little 1/8 cup or something of vodka, and then you would times 7. I can't even do the math in my head right now, but you would do, okay, so for 1 cup of vodka, it'd be 7 cups of water. So if that makes sense. And I don't think you have to be super precise. Just don't go overboard on the alcohol, because what it does is it kind of makes it where the plant can't quite take as much water as it wants to. So you don't want to completely dehydrate it. So don't be liberal on the vodka. Just put just a little. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the black in here. And this is a shorter vase. So you can see, you know, I'm kind of seeing a shadow of black through there, and I don't know if I like that. So I think I'm going to switch to white on that, to be honest. The other one is a thicker vase. Hey, it's trial and error, right? Sometimes we like what we're doing, and sometimes we got to backtrack. Okay, so I'm liking that white better. It still does a little bit of a shadow, but it's not so dark. So this can fit 1, and I think we can fit a tiny one in there too. So we'll just do that. And again, I'll add my water. It'll come up in my gravel, and it'll just be at the base, at the very base of that bulb. And that's what wakes them up and they start coming alive. Now you want to keep these in 65 to 75 degree room, which is, you know, most homes, and just indirect light. You don't want them in a like super sunny, you know, fry them alive kind of window. So you want to keep them indirect light. They could use a little bit of light. Okay, so next I've got my straight-sided, see if you can see it here, my straight-sided sort of terrarium, and I am going to plant these up as terrariums after I'm done with the bulbs. I don't like putting a lot of dirt in there or anything like that right now. This would be real easy to pull out the gravel, or I can layer actually on top of it, or use this gravel to layer, but that'll be another video. We'll talk about that later. Let me know if you want to see some terrariums in some vintage containers, because I love terrariums and they're so fun, especially during the cold months, to have something like a little miniature garden to putz around in, and you can do a little bit of water and a little bit of you know, just care of your plants. It's kind of fun when you don't have a garden outside. So I've got these green glass pieces. that we picked up at a sort of touristy town close by here. And I'm gonna add these in just for some interesting color. And I'm gonna mix my bulbs in among them. It shouldn't be any kind of problem at all. So be thinking about, you know, thrifted or vintage or just interesting. You could put just pretty stones or rocks or pieces of amethyst. I have a big piece of amethyst that I really probably should have put in this other one. Just anything you can think of. Pretty pieces of quartz, you can mix those in. So I don't want to get this too full or I'm not going to have room for my bulbs. So here we go. We're going to plant, we're just going to nestle the root in down there. And the one thing I do like about the gravel is that it does help them to stay upright and not fall over. And these rocks are going to help them stabilize too. Well, they're actually pieces of glass at this really quirky store that they just have, they have every color of just all these broken glass pieces. And you have to be careful when you're picking through them that you actually don't get a sharp piece, because they can give you a little surprise. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. Let's see if I can fit just a couple more. Let's see. I think I want to put them in the middle so you can still see those colored glass pieces once these shoot up their green. Okay, so there's that one. That's all planted up. It doesn't look like much right now, but once that green starts shooting up, it's gonna be beautiful, like a little garden, and I'm gonna make sure I get pictures of it for you as they develop, so that will be fun. Let's see, what is my next thing I wanted to do? I wanna plant this one up, but it's sort of the same process. It's just pouring the gravel in and putting it in. So it's simple, you can see what to do. But I just wanted to show you that there's so many ways you can style it, and what I wanted to show you is that before it starts to bloom, I've got to reach over here. You saw this on one of my thrift hauls before. I love cloches. These are garden cloches that were used back in the day before plastics and what have you, that would go over the early plants so that they wouldn't get frost on them and stuff. And now they're just beautiful decor pieces. I had gotten this and it had a hole in the top. I don't even know if it was originally supposed to be a cloche. It was probably for a doll or something like that, you know, display. But it had a hole in the top, and I went ahead and got a piece of rope from the hardware store, and you may have seen these real high-end cloches. They have them in even Home Goods and such, but they're usually a good at least $15 or $20. And I got this really neat little boho plate and the cloche, and it was $1.75 combined. So I thought that was a fun deal. But look, you could put your little vase before the bloom comes up. You could put it like that and make it a little more decorative and put it on a shelf, put it on a mantle, put it on your kitchen table or wherever. Just want it to be cute. Also, I thought about, I've got these vintage books, and I thought how pretty would it be to take, you know, your smaller containers and just, you know, add your Paperwhites. You know, imagine on a mantle, again, a bookshelf, a mantle, a shelf in your house, a side table, anywhere like that. And even before they start to shoot up, and they're just kind of dull looking right now, they're still gonna be pretty already with those vintage containers. That's what makes the difference. And so there's a lot of ways to style these, and as I continue to plant some and they start to grow, for sure you're gonna see them in my Christmas decor, my holiday decor, and maybe even after that, hopefully. Okay, so guys, that's gonna about do it for me with the planting of Paperwhites and our amaryllis today. let me know if you do this, and I hope you do. I think you'll really enjoy it. Also, stay tuned for upcoming videos on thrifted Christmas gifts. I've been out, even though I was sick, I was feeling a little bit better, and I went out and found some things that I'm gonna do for thrifted Christmas gifts, and I think you're really gonna like it. So stay tuned for that in an upcoming video very, very soon. And if you like all things DIY, home decor, thrifting, all things home, all the good stuff, then subscribe and hit the like button, because it really helps me out, and it helps me to know what kind of content you're looking for, because I want to be helpful and I want you to have a home that you love and a home that you love to come home to and enjoy. And it really doesn't matter what your budget is, you can do it. So thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time here at Free Range Cottage. Thanks again.